Success comes in cans. Failure comes in can'ts. Wilfred Peterson. My friends, each and every day your can is doing it. 10 to 15 minutes, that's all we ask. Let's jump into these charts. As we look at things overall, everything is up for the day except Bitcoin pulling back. Now, as we look at the stock market, even with all the craziness over the weekend, the bombing of Iran, what'd the market do? It was up about 8% for the day. The S&P, NASDAQ, up 0.91%. Now, as we look at things, though, it sure looks to me like it is topping here. Now, again, could just be digesting all these weeks of up gains and be getting ready to go even higher. But this is the third week where it's just sort of sliding sideways. We've gotten smaller candle each time. Now, this is just the first day, I know it, but it is a green spinning top right now. We had red volume last week. That does not mean volume was negative. It means that it opened lower than the prior close. That was the first time in the three prior weeks that it had all been green, and volume was increasing. It increased last week. So let's see where it goes this week. Now, our probability of direction, we are still bullish. Our entry exit points, expected move, and backtest accuracy along with the directional probability. That's all in our trade execution summary grid. Patreon members, of course, it's emailed out to you every day. And again, as we look at things, I continue to see, and I believe it's also being reflected by our directional probability as it slows down moving up. So again, pay attention. It was up for the day, 1%. But again, seeing things slow. Now let's go next to the NASDAQ 100. Where are we there? NASDAQ was also up, but again, it got really close to its high, interim high, back on the week beginning the 9th of June. Last week didn't reach that high again. This week, green spinning top. Again, you can see where things on the weekly trend line sitting right on it on the half-day chart. Weekly trend line, look at that. Fourth doji in a row forming there. When we look at the S&P, again, doji's there, 4. Again, just moving along. You can see where it's edging down more on the S&P. And as you look at the NASDAQ, not so much. But again, we are going to keep an eye. Lots and lots of indecision of what these dojis show us. So again, I'm seeing a slowdown. We still have directional probability with decent backtest accuracy. Okay on the NASDAQ, not so good on the S&P, and we'll continue to keep an eye on stocks. Now let's move on where we've seen, again, things go from bullish to flat to now, bearish to flat to now bullish. Things upward, of course, that means down to flat to up. And again, where our percentage is decent, not as high as we like it to be. Again, we always like to be in the 80 percentile plus with an 80+% backtest accuracy. But going into this third week, we do see bonds continuing to move up just a little bit for the day, 0.32%. We've seen over the last 3 weeks as volume has gone down, as price has continued to move up. We can see on the 2-day chart, again, volume going down over the last, 7 days as price continues to tick up. And of course, on the half day, we can see where it's meandered around, but again, continues to move up. So hence, we are going from what was bearish to flat to now what's bullish, from down to flat to up. That is where we are now when it comes to bonds. Let's move on from bonds to gold. What are we seeing on the gold chart? Gold was up a little bit, 0.31%. We are still bullish on gold. You notice I don't like to say the word even bearish. It's even hard for me to spit out. I don't like bearishness. Again, if I'm trading it, I do, because sometimes it's a whole lot easier to make money when the market's crashing. Those of you who love going short, you know what I'm talking about. And again, if this market particularly stocks, are getting ready to top out. And if things around the world start going bad and it starts getting nasty and the market really starts to pull back, you're talking to the man that is ready, willing, and able to go short and write it down with SH or PSQ. Good things for you to practice if the world goes into hell in a handbasket. Now, what do we see going on with gold? Again, gold is our strongest directional probability in an up move. Not that high, but stronger than the others. And again, as we look at things, we start this week off with a smaller candle. Haven't had average volume. I keep saying this. We've got to go all the way back to that down week back beginning May the 12th. We've not had average volume since then, but gold has continued to tick up. Now, again, we had that interim high last week at 317.60. Where was that prior high? 317.63. So we were close to it last week. This week, starting off slower. We'll see which way it goes. We're sitting right on the weekly trend line on the half-day chart and the two-day chart. Still have another day to go on that two-day chart. We'll see if our volume gets up to average. We'll keep an eye on things and see how it continues to go. But we are cautiously bullish on gold. And again, if the world goes to pot, this is something that's interesting. If stocks really do take a strong hit, a lot of times what you'll see happen, because people have to cover their shorts, you'll see gold go down with it. Now, gold can recover, but it's always interesting to me when the market sees an exogenous event occur, something unexpected, something that just hammers things. I do see everything tends to go down to begin with and then gets sorted out. We'll see. That's why we track the charts. We don't guess. We don't say, well, this has to happen because that happened. We let the market tell us what's going on, and we ride that weekly wave. That's where we are on gold. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin. It was our only downer, and it wasn't down much, 0.14%. But again, as we look at where we are with Bitcoin, we make sure that we have, we do. We have that drawn right. Not much of a trend line. It's almost flat. I wonder if it's possible. It doesn't hurt us. I'm just trying to find something that connects and that gives us a little bit more of a trend line to see. But as we look at the 2-day, we can see, again, where it slid sideways and over the last 3 days has been pushing itself down. We're below the trend line on the half-day, on the 2-day, and of course on the weekly. We are now bearish on Bitcoin. We've been talking about Bitcoin topping and then pulling back. Again, when we have these huge up moves, things tend to slide sideways and then pull back. People are, they're enjoying maybe some of the wealth that they gained by maybe selling some of their positions, enjoying a little bit of the money, letting it pull back, and then, of course, I just sort of call it digestion. But we will keep an eye on things for you as we continue to move around. But I will tell you, we are bearish on Bitcoin now. That is where we are, my friends. Again, remember, Patreon members, that trade execution summary grid will be available for you at the Patreon site. We also email it to you every day. But if for some reason you don't see the email, always check out the Patreon site, because everything we post there first. And again, that trade execution summary grid lists the ticker symbol for the ETF, the directional probability in percentages, the entry point, exit point, the expected move in dollars, and the back test accuracy, so you can have successful practice trades. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.